My camera stand is so messed up, guys, so just give me a second. Okay. Alright. Alrighty. So, this is kind of a video on how I found my stereotype and how I found out I was a Therian that doesn't have shifts or past life. Like, how does one find out they're a Therian without those two things, which not required to be a Therian. You're valid without shifts, you're valid without a past life. I don't have either. So that's just how I am. So I have my words down here, so I'm gonna look down because I don't have anywhere better to film. Therian that doesn't have shifts or a past life, that's me. I'm a Therian, and I am a furry now because, I can do that. Yeah. It's kind of hard to explain my experiences because as a Therian that doesn't shift or have past lives, how did I find my stereotype? And it's just hard to explain. It was a feeling along with evidence that supports my feelings and how I felt. Let's start with what a Therian actually is. A Therian is someone who involuntarily identifies as an animal. So I meant to find the tag of this person, but Faye, I'll put her tag right here. She says that you can become a Therian, and she supports that with evidence and kind of how she feels as a Therian. I highly suggest checking out her channel and seeing that video because everybody's experiences are different, and as a community we should support each other and educate educate younger Therians in the community. I can explain what a Therian is, but I can't explain shifts. That's just, I don't shift. I can't explain that. I obviously don't have any sort of shift that I'm aware of. Some people say you can't remember your shifts. Some people say you can. It's just a matter of perspective and who you are. Sorry, my mask is so crooked. And I can see it because I have it mirrored. I thought I used to have shifts, but after research, I found out that I do not because I just didn't experience what anybody was explaining a shift was. I do wonder if I had dream shifts at one point because I shifted in my dream, first person and third person view, but I'm not entirely sure because I don't think a lot of people in the Therian community have dream shifts, so I don't think as many people can explain that. I do have animalistic urges, not to the point where they are shifts, but urges, something that I feel like is natural to me. That's what brought me to thinking about therianthropy. But before we were thinking about therianthropy, how did I find therianthropy? How do I know what that is? I discovered therianthropy around January 2021, the year before I awakened. I found videos while scrolling through YouTube. I don't remember what I was looking for, but it somehow came up on my feed, and I'm glad it did because I'm Therian. At first I was skeptical, but the only reason I looked into it was because I was a quadrobist that didn't know I was a quadrobist. Does that make any sense? Probably not, but that's what it is. I also had a hyperfixation with werewolves, not like the full weird furry look necessarily, more of like a human with ears and a tail. That was just kind of my hyperfixation at the time. I had a strong urge that I was one, not in the sense like a past life, but more in a sense that I was. I even started writing a book off my dreams because I think I had dream shifts where I would see my werewolf or wolf self in my dreams. There was at one point I saw my fox self in my dreams. Other than that, I have not seen any of my other stereotypes necessarily in my dreams. A lot of them were first person views, and like a few of them were, oh my goodness, that's so uncomfortable. Some of them were third person views as well. I'm writing a book off my dreams because I think it'd be a good topic to talk about in the community. Dream shifts, if that is what they are. And if you know what a dream shift is, if you can explain that, comment down below, because I would love to learn more about myself and the Therian community. That is where I got my name, the Wandering Werewolf, because I'm wandering. I'm not fully educated and I want to learn more. I had a variation of dreams, some being third person, others being first person view. I also saw other creatures like were-tigers, as I like to put it, because werewolves, were-tigers, yep. I saw a were-dragon in another human-like person, but it wasn't necessarily a human-like person. They were like other characters, maybe other Therians. I'm not sure exactly, but I saw them and I like talked with them. I'm not sure what the conversations were about because I'm not good at memorizing that kind of stuff, but I do know that there were other characters that were like me in my dream. So they could be real people, they could be completely fictional. Just a matter of figuring that out. I do plan to finish my book and publish it at some point if I am able to. I was identifying as a werewolf at one point, not in the sense that I knew I was necessarily. As for finding my stereotypes, which I'm kind of like jumping from subject to subject, I'm sorry, I'm very bad at videos. I was at one point when I was still finding my stereotypes, I was identifying as a Therian. I just didn't know what necessarily I was identifying as. I didn't know any of my stereotypes except for my werewolf, which is technically otherkin, but at the same time, I feel like it isn't as fictional, but I wouldn't know. I haven't looked into it enough. I haven't found the right videos to figure that out yet. At one point, I did have a dream where my werewolf self turned into a wolf, and that's where I started thinking about the wolf, because I wasn't originally looking at a species that matched up with my animalistic urges, but that kind of came into play at some point along with my fox. I also have two other stereotypes, deer and coyote. I'll explain those at another point. So a little bit after I created my YouTube channel was when I found my 3 other stereotypes, because originally when I started my YouTube channel, it was just werewolf, Alaskan timber wolf. That's all. And then slowly I would add stereotypes I was questioning and ones that I wasn't. And like the ones that I knew and the ones that I was questioning. And that's just kind of where my channel came into play. I'll explain my other stereotypes in another video probably. Like each one have their own video and kind of how I found them, what they look like, what I've pictured them as, kind of what I think about my stereotypes, etc. So this is just kind of a sum up on how I found therianthropy, not necessarily an in-depth thing, just kind of like how I experienced it. And if you have any ideas or you know how to explain dream shifts, comment down below, because I need help figuring that out, because I don't want my channel to say I don't experience shifts when I do. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, comment down below. If you have any questions, I can try to answer them. If I don't know them, I'll just tell you I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Bye!